What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel once again. So today we're going to be taking a look at the newest Revopoint Inspire 3D scanner that recently was sent to me to test out and try, so that's what we're going to do. And this one is their newest model. It has not yet been released, but it will be available in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get this all opened up, check it out, and let's see what's inside. Alright, so I got this all unboxed, and right here is everything that it came with. And over here you can see I have all the calibration boards and stickers that I'm going to need if I need them. I have the turntable with a power cord right here, the camera itself. It comes with the stand for the camera, which does open up to a tripod. It comes with the USB cable, a little USB-C to USA adapter, and this little connector, which I haven't quite figured out what it's for yet, but I'm sure I will down the road, along with a warranty card. Now, I was a little surprised that there were actually no instructions whatsoever included in this, so I will have to go to their website and actually look at the instructions on one of their previous scanners and see. They also sent me a mobile kit to go with it, which comes with the cable and a little power supply as well. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get this all set up, put together for the pieces that I need, and then we're going to find a scan and we're going to try this out. I'll probably hook it up to my computer first just to see how this works, and we'll go from there. All right, so I got this all hooked up, and since I didn't have any instructions that came with it, I did go on their website and actually print them out. So I have a reference to actually go off of, and it gives me an idea of how to actually get this set up and connected. So here on the front of the scanner, you can see the infrared fill light, the depth camera, the projector, the white LED, the RGB camera, the depth camera, and the infrared fill light. On the back, you have the connection indicator, the Type-C port, the power indicator, and the start pause button. So in order to hook this up to the iPhone, you will need to just switch it over through the Wi-Fi and click on Aspire once you have it all connected. And then I can log out, go back into RevoScan that I can download from the iOS store. I can click on New Project. As you can see here, it says Scanner Connected. So I can click on that, and you have accuracy tracking. I'm just going to leave this all how it is for now, and I'll click on Start Scanning. And as you can see, it pops up. And if I wave my hand in front, you can see that depending on the depth, you can see over here that it was changing like to red and blue. And that means it's either overexposed or underexposed, depending on how far away you have and the lighting that you have to work with. So I'm not going to use this, the iPhone, just for the minute. I will go switch over to my computer and do a scan from there. I just wanted to quickly show you that it is very easy to set this up on the iPhone, and to me it seems like it'll work just fine. But we'll come back to that in a little while. Alright, so for this first test, I will be trying out this little lion statue that I 3D printed a while ago, and I think it came out nice. But we're going to try and scan this and see how much of this detail it'll pick up. But I'm going to use our little turntable. I'll head on over to my computer, we'll get this set up, and let's scan this. Alright, so here I am over in RevoScan 5.2.2. I'm going to go ahead and click on New Project. And I will need to get this aligned. But first, over here on the right-hand side, you can see scan settings. And I'm going to switch this over to standard accuracy. And I want to keep the model somewhere around this excellent and good range. If I get too near or too far, it's going to show me right here, as you can see as I move it back and forth. So I'll set this up as a general object. I will keep it on feature tracking and not marker tracking, since I am not using any of the markers. The scanning distance, I'm just going to leave this as it is. I will do color scanning. As you can see now, it added the color to it. But I do need to adjust this to where it is centered in the frame, and I'll try and get it as close to excellent as possible. This will rotate, so it may get out of frame, but if I need to, I can always do another scan and merge it together. Auto exposure, I can probably just leave that on. These white LEDs will help, as you can see here, to improve the color scans, adjust the exposure until the object can clearly be seen in the RGB window. You only need to do this when you perform a color scan. And I will be performing a color scan, so I'll leave this on auto exposure, and I will turn on the white LEDs. So I can hide the surfaces, and as you saw, that got rid of that ring around where the turntable is that you can see. And I am right in the excellent spot. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click Start, turn this turntable on, and let's do one full scan. And then I'll click Pause. Here you can see all the points that are in the point cloud. So from here, all I have to do is I can click Complete. And it processed this model. But now I need to go to one-click Edit. And I could go into Fusion and edit everything myself, the point distance and all that, but I'm just going to keep it simple and go with their default settings. So I'll just click Apply, and it will go through the raw, fused, mesh, and textured for me. So I'll click on this, and we'll give it a minute. I will just kind of fast forward through this so you don't have to sit and wait, because this could take a minute. All right, so that has finished, and here you can see it with it textured. Just the mesh, if I turn the color off, you can see I am missing some holes in certain places, and of course underneath, because obviously it can't scan underneath. But overall, I think that's looking pretty good for a quick first scan. So now what I can do is I can go back in to scan, and I can actually start a new scan. And I'm going to just rotate the model, as you can see down on this left-hand corner, so I can get the bottom of it. I'll actually turn it this way first, and hopefully get into some of the little cracks that weren't able to get filled in before. So I'll go ahead and I'll click Scan, and we'll scan this again. And I'll click Complete. And I'll process this the same exact way as I did before with one-click Edit. And I'll just click Apply. All right, so there you have it. I did get the other part of this scan on its side. And if I take off the texture and color, you can see that this is how it's looking. And now what I want to do is I want to merge these together so I can get the bottom filled in along with the other one. I'll click on Merge, and now I'll select the other model, which now you can see here, and I can rotate these separately if I want to. But now it should merge these together, and I can fill in some of these spots that might not have filled in. As you see this hole over here, here it doesn't have it. So I clicked on both of these. I do have it on feature since I'm not in marker mode, and I'll just click OK. So there we go. It looks like it filled in quite a bit more, and that's looking Much better. I am missing one spot on the other side, but I can just go ahead and scan it again and merge it again. So let's go back, and now I have the merged model, which this is fused, but I'm actually going to flip this over one more time, and I'll click on New Scan, and I'll flip it the other way. With it down, I'll click Start and do one more full rotation. All right, I got the full rotation, and once again, I'll go ahead and click Complete, and I will process this with the one-click processing. Okay, so now I have the other side of the model, along with a big hole on that side. But now what I can do is I can merge these again. I'll merge 01 and 080503. I'll go into Merge and merge these two. That way I'll get both halves, and I'll click OK. Let this process for a minute, and now I should have the entire model. So let's go back to one-click edit. I will click on the Merge 02, and I'll do a one-click edit on this one now that I have the fused points, and I'll click Apply. And now here is the meshed version, and you can see, I think this looks pretty good. So I will try scanning this one more time and see if I can adjust some settings and see if I can make this just a little bit better. And I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back right after that. Okay, so I rescanned this lion, and I think this time this came out much better than the previous test, and I actually was able to take my time doing this, and I did actually multiple scans. I didn't actually stitch these together, so this is just one continuous scan. I did a rotation, I hit pause, I repositioned the camera, I hit play, and continued on doing it that way. So if I go into RAW, you can see my frames are 2586 down here on the bottom left, where normally each rotation I try and do about 350 to 400. So I repositioned this about 5 different times, maybe 6, to get this final captured model. And that was pretty much it. So I think the detail on that came out a lot better. I then was just able to export this as an STL. You can actually export it as PLY or OBJ. I just chose an STL though. So in order to use the handheld scanner, I will just unscrew this part right here. And this is just the battery bank, which I will screw on. And this actually can extend as well if you need to make it higher. I'll screw on the phone holder. And then the camera, that little piece earlier that I wasn't sure what it was for, it was so it actually mounts onto here. So now I can scan my face, and I will actually be able to see what I'm doing by connecting my phone. So the plug just goes right into the output. And that's it. Now this cord is rather long, so if you have kind of a cable tie or something like that, I might recommend doing that, or if you have a shorter cable, that would work. But this should be just fine. So I do have this fully charged. I let this charge overnight. And you can see on the back that this is now on. Now I do need to go into my settings on my phone and actually connect it to the Wi-Fi. Click on Inspire. And then I'll go into RevoScan. And now you can see it's connected. So I can click on New Project. And for this, I want to do feature tracking. I want to do face because I'll be scanning my face. And I will do this in color. I really don't need to, but actually, you know what? I'm going to do it with no color. That way it just makes it go a little faster. Otherwise, it's going to do all the texturing too. So I'm just going to do this first with no color, and we'll see how that turns out. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to click on Start Scanning, and I'm just going to go around my face. And then I'll click Stop. Now here you can see it's actually post-processing. So this is just a first scan, and we'll see how this kind of turns out once this finishes. Okay, so here you can see that first scan that I did, and I think that's actually not too bad. There are a few little floater pieces that popped up, but overall I'm quite happy with it. I did go ahead and I tried it again in color. And if I go and remove the texture, it's kind of hard to do yourself because I'm looking at the camera to make sure that I'm staying in like that excellent mode. So it does make it a little tricky, and then trying to get on the side of the head is a little bit more difficult. But here I think that one came out pretty good. There are a few little hiccups on the eyes, but I can easily go and clean that up, so I'm not too worried. But now I can actually go back in and I can share this and send it to my computer. So if I want to share this, I can click on it, I can click share. I can go over to my PC and click transfer from iPhone, and it'll give me a code. Now you do have to make sure you're on the right network too, the same as whatever your PC is on. So I did have to switch it over from Inspire. So I'll type in 9802. And you'll see the dots little spinning, and connection successful, and now it's transferring. So I'll transfer all of these over to my computer, and then we'll be back right after that. Okay, so here you can see that these have loaded in. So now if I click on it, I can see the model right here. I can also go and see the fused one, or the raw that was taken as well. And if I want to make any adjustments, I can. But for this, I'm not going to, as this was just a test and I just wanted to kind of see how it turned out. But if I go back, I can click on another one, and this one actually is textured. And again, I can see the fused. I can remove the texture and see how it looks. Same with the raw as well. And this one had a lot more frames. I did 1388. So it does make the file size a little bit bigger, but that's not a big deal. Now I could go and fix some of these little pieces like in the eye, but I'm really not that concerned. I couldn't really get the back of my head just because I can't see what I'm doing. But overall, I'm quite happy with that. I think that turned out really well. So I'll try scanning one more thing and we'll see how it turns out, and then we'll go over a little bit more about this camera. So I'll do that, and then I'll be right back right after that. All right, so here's a little Bears football gnome that I did. Here you can see the color and the texture. I think this came out really good. You can see that I did have almost 3,300 frames involved with taking this scan. But overall, I think it came out really good. I did have some issues here with the nose as it didn't get it because it is so dark. I did have it on dark mode, but again, same with the back. I did have to just go into mesh and just fill the holes, which wasn't really a big deal. I think it filled it in nicely. It is a little bit messed up, but overall, I don't really care, as I think this came out really good, and I'm quite happy with the way that this turned out. All right, so I just showed the process of scanning smaller items like the little lion, bigger items like this gnome right here, and also scanning my face using the handheld version. And overall, I think this worked really, really well. So I'll go over a few things that I really like about this, and I'll go over some things that I think could be a little bit better, but let's jump right into that. And I think first, I think this actually works really, really well, and I am really happy with it. It does come with the tripod, and it does actually extend if you needed to make it bigger. They did send me the mobile charging unit with it to use for the handheld. Now, this doesn't actually come with it. This is a separate purchase, but they did send this to me, so thank you for that. And it does come with a really long cord, which for handheld isn't really ideal because it kind of gets in the way. So a smaller cable might be a little bit better, but not the end of the world, as I can just kind of tie it off or hold it, and it's not really that bad. I do like that it has this swivel on here, so if you need to adjust the angle, you easily can and just tighten it. This connected very easily over iOS, and I'm sure it's probably the exact same as on the Android, but I don't have an Android, only iOS. But it was very easy to connect. All I had to do was just connect it to the same network as the Inspire on my phone and on the Inspire, and that was it. So another thing that I really like is this turntable that was supplied with it. And what I really like about this is when I go and place a model on this, this does actually have a variable speed. And I'll show you this. When I place the model on it, if I adjust the speed just right, when I go and hit this start button right here, it will do exactly one full rotation and then it will stop. So I know that while I'm scanning, if I only want to get one full rotation in, if I set this properly, this will turn exactly 360 degrees and then it will shut off, so I know that when I'm scanning it, I can hit pause or stop on the computer or my phone as it's going. And I'll just let this go for a minute so you can see. But you'll see that it'll automatically stop once it gets about to that full rotation, maybe a little over if I didn't adjust it perfectly. But see, there you go. So it spun around entirely 360 degrees and then stopped where I wanted it to. I probably could slow it down just a tad more, but then when I'm ready to do another rotation, I can just click the button and it will start again and do another full rotation. So I think the only issues that I had with it was trying to scan darker objects, like when I was trying to scan the nose or even like the back of the shirt on this gnome. It did have a little problem picking it up, but that's kind of standard, and that's going to be with any scanner you get is going to have a hard time picking up dark features like that. I could have used some powder or something or painted it, but I didn't want to ruin this, and so I didn't use anything, but that is an option. If you want to pick up some scanning spray just to get better detail, you can. So just like any scanner, you are going to run into some issues trying to scan certain items, like things that are really reflective or translucent, like a glass or a mug or something like that, just because you can see through it, so it really won't pick it up that well. But you can use these little marker dots, which will help if you have, especially like really flat surfaces. Let's say I was doing like a pumpkin or a flat box or something like that. You might want to use some markers just to be able to pick up where those areas are so the scanner can see it a little bit better. Now that's not really an issue. That's just how these scanners work. So not a big deal, but something I would like to point out. So I think overall, I think this is a great scanner. This is, again, the Revopoint Inspire. This is their newest one, which has not yet been released. It will be released on Kickstarter, I think on August 15th, so coming up very soon. I will put a link down in the description to where you can pick this up as well. Now there are different models that Revopoint does have, which is the Mini, the Range, the Pop 2, the Pop 3, and they're all kind of geared toward different sized items and things like that. So if you're looking to scan really small things like jewelry or miniatures or things like that, you might want to go with the Mini just to get better detail on those. And if you're scanning larger things like car parts or furniture, you might want to go with the Range, as those are geared towards bigger ones. Now the Inspire is kind of that middle ground one, kind of similar to the Pop 2 and Pop 3, but with a lower price point. It doesn't include all the features and doesn't have as much accuracy, but overall, I think as you saw in the previews, it does work really, really well. I'd also like to point out that I really am happy that I can use this with my iPhone. Now I tested out the Creality scanner and that one worked really well as well, but I wasn't able to hook that up to my iPhone. It's only available on Android, so that's kind of a bummer for me, where this one I am able to connect it to my iPhone. So if I want to take this on the road and scan anywhere I want, I can without having to haul my PC or laptop around with me. So right there, that's definitely a bonus. Well, that's going to be it for this video, everyone. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below, ring the bell, get notified of all the new videos that come out. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.